3, 7 to 18. Today we'll be reading through verses 9 to 11. Our first verse. Ede dekai, he axine prostein rizan ton dendron ketai, panun dendron me poiun, carpon kalon ekoptetai, kai es pur baletai. As usual, I'm going to look for the verbs first. We have ketai here, which is a present indicative deponent third singular of kemai. It's probably passive here. The idea is laid, maybe being laid. And you'll see in a minute what the subject is. And then we have ekoptetai, which is also a present indicative passive third singular of ekopter. Almost took our little preposition off the front of it, took away the compound. And then our last verb in this verse is from Balar, and is similarly a present indicative passive third singular. That's why I'm thinking that this is probably passive as well. Okay, so ekoptetai is cut down. Okay, and then baletai is thrown. Okay, so here we're continuing on from what we did yesterday, and so we're still in part of a quotation from John the Baptist. We start off here with three words that sort of form one idea, but it's like a heaping up of conjunctions. I'm going to translate it as "but even already." He axine, the axe. Okay, the axe is being laid to the root of the trees. Okay. Un, so it's our post positive, so it comes first. Then every tree not bearing. So we translated poieo as bear yesterday. It's a present active participle this time. Neuter nominative singular to go with the tree. Okay, of poieo, not bearing. Carpon kalon, good fruit. And then that every tree is the subject of our two verbs here, is cut down and is thrown into the fire. And so remembering that we will insert the here because often our article will drop out of our prepositional phrases. Verse 10. Kai eperoton auton hoi okloi legontes. Ti un poiesomen. All right, so we have a couple verbs in this verse. Eperoton, which is an imperfect indicative active third plural form of eperotao. Okay, and then we have poiesomen, which is in aorist subjunctive. First person plural of poieo. Okay. Eperoton, so they were asking. Poiesomen, it's within a quotation. You can sort of see here, and it's asking a question. You can spot that because of the semicolon at the end, and the interrogative T, what? Okay. What might we do? Better English, what shall we do? Okay. And I may as well finish out this quotation. Then what shall we do? Okay. Let's finish out the rest of the verse. Kai, and they were asking him. Who was asking him? The crowds. The crowds were asking him. And then we have our common sort of participle that opens a quotation here, saying. So that's a present active participle, and it's masculine nominative plural. So we know it's the crowds that were the ones saying. Then what shall we do? And then we get our answer here in the next verse. Apokrithes de elegenautois. Ho ekon duo ketonas metadoto to me ekonti. Kai ho ekon bromata homoios poieto. All right. So our first verb in this verse is elegen. It, similarly to the asking, is imperfect indicative active, and it's third person singular. Lego, he was saying. So again, whether this was a customary thing, was a repeated action, I'm not going to translate it with a simple past, even though in Greek grammar, such as Mounts, they suggest that you can just translate these things as a simple past, that there's not some sort of difference in the meaning. I'm not so sure there. I think that we might be seeing something that was done repeatedly. Okay. All right. And then what else do we have in this verse? We have metadotor, which is, it's a third person imperative. We actually have two of these. We have metadoto and we have poieto. And we have to make sort of a decision with how we're going to translate them, because we don't have third person imperatives in English. So whether we go with a more adjussive, let so-and-so whatever verb, or whether we go with something like this person must, whatever the verb is. I like to go with the more adjussive sense, so the let, because I think that must can be a little bit too strong. So with metadotor, that's in aorist imperative, active, third person singular of meta, didomi. Okay, and it means to share. So, and because it's third person singular, we have a ha here. That's our subject. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're focused on male persons. So I tend to try to make it gender neutral. And so I'll pluralize this, let them share. Okay. And again, the same thing happens in the second part of the verse. So we have, but this time it's a present imperative, active, third person singular. Might be interesting to think about why, once we finish translating this verse, what effect the different tenses have with the two verbs. Like why is this one present and the previous one is aorist? So let them do. Okay. And again, we can see that this is within a quotation. Okay. Let's start back at the beginning and see how we translate the rest of this verse. So we have day here, and it's post-positive. Apokrithes. So that's a passive deponent. Aorist passive participle, masculine nominative singular of apocrinomai. Okay, so and he answered and says to them, okay, ha ekon. So here our participle is functioning substantively, so standing in place of a noun. So we have a present active participle, masculine nominative singular of echo. So the one having. Duo, two. Ketonos, tunics. So when we translate this, we'll probably want to put let at the start. So let the one having two tunics share. And then this is dative. So with the one not having, right? So this is also a participle, but it's in dative singular. Present active participle, masculine dative singular of echo. So we have the one who has and the one who doesn't have. We might want to word that a bit nicer with the one not having is a little wordy. For the one who doesn't, might be simple enough. Okay, and then what else is, and then we have a second phrase here. And the one having, again, so that's another present active participle, masculine nominative singular. Having bromata, food. And it's plural food, but obviously we don't pluralize it in English. And let the one having food do likewise. Okay? So I'm going to assume here that if you share one of your tunics with someone, that's not something that has to be a repeated gesture. Once you've shared the tunic, they have the tunic. But with the food, and given even you have plural food here, so plenty of food. Likewise, let them share it, right? This as a present tense sort of has that ongoing sense, doesn't it? So I personally think that that's probably what's going on here in the grammar, is that we have the aorist for the share once your tunic, because that in and of itself precludes a repeated action. You've shared it, they've got it, done. But the food is a repeated, if you have plenty of food, share your food. Okay. Let's go ahead and have a read through my translation. But even already the axe is being laid to the root of the trees. Then every tree not bearing fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. And the crowds were asking him, saying, Then what shall we do? And he answered, saying to them, Let the one having two tunics share with the one who doesn't, and let the one having food do likewise.